I was 20 and convinced that love was something loud. I believed it arrived with fireworks, with certainty, with a sudden click in the chest that said, "This is it." I believed mistakes were dramatic, obvious, and easily avoided if you were careful enough. And I believed loss only happened to people who didn't pay attention. I was wrong about all of it. Our first date wasn't anything special. That was the problem. It was a small cafe near the river, one of those places that smelled like burnt coffee and old books. The windows were foggy from the cold outside, and the heater made a quiet, uneven noise like it was tired of trying. Eli arrived 5 minutes late, breathless, apologizing too much. "I ran," he said, laughing, brushing snow off his coat. I smiled and said, "It's fine," even though I had already decided it meant something. I didn't know what yet, but I was always good at turning small things into signs. He had kind eyes, not beautiful in a movie way, just honest. Eyes that didn't rush you. When he spoke, he listened to his own words, like he was choosing them carefully, afraid they might hurt someone if used the wrong way. We talked about nothing important. Music we half liked, books we pretended to have finished, childhood memories that had been polished into stories. I laughed too loudly. He nodded too often. At the end of the date, there was a pause, the kind that stretches too long because both people are waiting for the other to move first. "So," he said finally, "this was nice." "Yes," I said. "It was." He hugged me. Not a long one, not a short one. An awkward, careful hug that stayed exactly where it was supposed to. I went home disappointed, not because he did anything wrong, but because nothing big had happened. No spark, no rush, no certainty. I told myself it meant he wasn't the one. That was my first mistake. We kept seeing each other anyway. Second dates, third dates, walks along the river, late night messages that didn't say much, but somehow said enough. He remembered things I forgot I had told him. I noticed how he always walked on the side closer to the street, how he asked before touching my hand, how he never pretended to be someone else. Still, I waited for love to arrive loudly. Instead, it came quietly. It came when I realized I felt calm around him, when silence didn't scare me anymore, when I stopped checking my phone during dinner because I didn't want to miss his expressions. But calm scared me. I mistook peace for boredom. I mistook safety for lack of passion. I had grown up believing love should hurt a little, should pull at you, should make you unsure. So when Eli didn't make me doubt myself, I started doubting him. That was my second mistake. The first real fight happened on a rainy Thursday. I was tired. He was tired. The kind of tired that has nothing to do with sleep. "You never fight for things," I said suddenly, my voice sharper than I intended. He looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean, you're always fine with everything. You don't get jealous. You don't argue. You don't push back." He frowned. "Is that a bad thing?" "Yes," I said without thinking. "It feels like you don't care enough." He was quiet for a long time. "I care," he said finally. "I just don't think love has to be loud to be real." I wanted to argue. I wanted him to raise his voice, to prove me wrong in a way that matched my expectations. Instead, he stayed calm, and somehow that hurt more. I left that night feeling misunderstood, telling myself I deserved more intensity, more fire. What I didn't understand was that I was asking him to become someone else so I wouldn't have to face my own fears. The first loss didn't happen all at once. It happened in small moments, in the way his smile faded a little when I criticized him for being too easy, in the pauses that grew longer between his messages, in the way he started asking, "Are you sure?" more often. I noticed it, but I didn't stop. I thought love was something you tested, something you challenged, something that survived storms. I didn't realize I was the storm. The night he left, there was no fight. That's the part people don't tell you about loss. Sometimes it doesn't explode. Sometimes it whispers. We were sitting on his couch, the TV on but muted, light from the screen flickering across his face. "I don't think I'm what you want," he said quietly. I laughed, nervous. "Why would you say that?" "Because I keep trying to become louder for you," he said, "and I'm losing myself." The room felt suddenly smaller. "I never asked you to change," I said. He looked at me then, really looked at me. "You didn't have to," he replied. That was the moment I felt it, the sharp, sinking realization that something precious was slipping away, and I had no idea how to hold it. "I love you," I said too late. He closed his eyes, I know, he said. That's why this hurts. When the door closed behind him, the sound wasn't dramatic, just a soft click, but it echoed for years. The first weeks after were unbearable. I replayed everything: the cafe, the hugs, the fights, the things I said too quickly, the things I never said at all. I learned that loss doesn't just take the person, it takes the version of you that existed with them, the future you imagined without ever realizing you were imagining it. I started noticing quiet love everywhere: in old couples holding hands at bus stops, in friends who showed up without being asked, in messages that simply said, "Did you eat today?" And I hated myself for not recognizing it sooner. Years later, on another first date, someone asked me what I was looking for. I thought of Eli, of his calm voice, of the way he loved without demanding applause. "I'm looking for something real," I said, "even if it's quiet." The person smiled, and for the first time, I understood. First dates teach us hope. First mistakes teach us humility. First losses teach us what love actually is. Not loud, not perfect, just honest. And sometimes we only learn that after it's gone.